What is up, everybody? My name is Phoenix, and today we have another big unboxing from the Cubicle.com. So in this package here, we have another set of puzzles. This time I got a lot of speed cubes this time because I felt like getting a bunch of main upgrades. I have a few non-WCA puzzles in here, but with all that said and done, let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Alright, let's drop the camera and let's see what we all got. So here we have the Moyu Weilong Maglev's Cube. I'm very excited for this one. I love solving Cube and I wanted to get an upgrade over my Aoyan, so I think I'm very excited for this one. We have the YJ MGC Square 1. I hear this is the best Square 1 on the market right now, and so I wanted to get one, especially since I don't actually have a magnetic Square 1. We have the YJ Yushi V2M 6x6. I do not have a magnetic 6x6 yet. Then we also have the YJ Yuchuang V2M 5x5. And keeping with the theme of that, we also have the YJ Yufu V2M 7x7. So I finally have a magnetic 5x5 to 7x7. We have the Chi magnetic clock. I've never had a clock in my collection, and this is the last WCA puzzle that I do not have. So I'm very excited for that. You have what is the $5 mystery puzzle, the Chi flat-faced Pyramorphics, which is actually really nice. I do not have this one, and I actually was planning on getting it. Probably not in this unboxing, but at least in the future. We have the Chi 1x2x3, just a bit of a joke puzzle. And then we also have the Moyu Puppet Cube, Puppet 1 and Puppet 2. I recently watched Jesse solve this, and after seeing him struggle, I thought, you know what, why don't I get it? Because they're inexpensive puzzles and they do provide a bit of a challenge, though I should be able to figure these out probably with the tutorial. But anyway, let's go ahead and get everything in frame. And let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing. So starting off with what was the $5 mystery puzzle, we had the Chi flat-faced Pyramorphics. So the Morphics line is essentially a 3x3 shape modification into a tetrahedron. So essentially it looks very similar to a pyramid. So essentially you can kind of see some similar resemblances here. So these two pieces look similar, these two pieces look similar, these look similar, but it also has these. And so the Pyramorphics is essentially a 2x2 version of that. And especially if, because this is flat-faced, this will be very nice. So I don't have a Pyramorphics in my collection. In fact, the only two Morphics puzzles that I have in my whole collection are the 3x3 Master Morphics from Shengxiao and also the 6x6 Master Morphics. I plan to get more Morphixes to maybe complete the collection, but that will have to wait for now because they are not the cheapest non-WCA puzzles out there. So right now, this was this is just kind of a mystery puzzle, but I'm actually pretty happy I got this one. So checking out turning here. Turns pretty well, as expected from Chi. They are known for making very good turning puzzles. Let's check out the shape shifting. So it looks like it does turn pretty well. So as you can see, we can do this and then that, and then we can kind of make this cool shape like that. And then we can twist it like this. So let's actually go through a quick solve. I wasn't really expecting to solve all the puzzles that I got, but because this is a simple modification, I figured why not. Let's hope we didn't get our color scheme wrong, so I might be using this as reference, but it looks like this is correct. So we're going to start with this side, and then we can just do that one in. It does not matter where they go. And then I think let's just go ahead and do a Nicholas. And then it looks like we just now have these two that are rotated. So this needs to be rotated counterclockwise, and this also needs to be rotated counterclockwise. So that means we need to rotate one of our flat edge pieces, which would be, or corner pieces, sorry, which would be this single colored blue one. And then this would be the last one that we need to rotate. Oh wait, I messed up something. So it turns out that also rotated these two, so this needs to be rotated counterclockwise, this also needs to be rotated counterclockwise. There we go. So So now we got it solved, and I just realized the camera is turning, which I'm not a fan of. So yeah, I wasn't really paying too much attention to the camera there, so my framing was probably not fantastic, but that is the Cheaty Pyramid Fix, which was the $5 mystery puzzle. So moving on to another cheaty puzzle, let's go ahead and take a look at the 1x2x3. How do I lock this? All right, that seems stable enough. But anyway, so this is a bit of a joke puzzle. It is a very trivial solve, obviously, but let's go ahead and take it out. I wanted to get this anyway just because it was cheap and I already got a lot of speed cubes, so it looks like we got an instruction booklet. Not that we're going to be needing this since I already know how to solve this pretty much. Feels pretty high quality, just first impression out of the box. So let's take a look and check out the turning. So these layers, oh wow, that's pretty smooth. So and then this layer obviously, and then what about the slice? Feels a little bit less smooth. It feels honestly a little inconsistent. But obviously this isn't really meant to be a speed cube, though it is made by a high quality cubing company. Let's actually go through a quick solve here. Oh, that didn't sound good. So yeah, not really much to this. Let's go ahead and do the solve now. So we've got this entire orange side solved, and then it looks like, yeah, this is the only unsolved piece right here, so that one is very easy to do. It's just 3 like that, and then bam, we got it solved. So a very easy puzzle, not really one that I'm gonna be spending too much time on, but anyway, let's go ahead and move on. All right, so next up, I want to go ahead and do all of my big magnetic N/N cubes. So we have the Yuchong V2M 5x5, the Yushi V2M 6x6, and the Yufu V2M 7x7. These are great budget options from YJ. I have their Yulong V2M, and it was a good option until my RS3M beat it out. So let's go ahead and take these all out of the box. How do I do this? Oh, wait a minute. They're wrapped in plastic. Let's try that again. That's better. So now that we've got it all out of the plastic and out of the boxes, let's go ahead and take a look. So first impressions, they all feel the same. They all feel decently heavy. It's understandable. These are the higher order competition N/N items. So let's check out the turning of the 5x5. It feels pretty sandy out of the box. Feels a bit sluggish. Let's try the outer layers. This is interesting. So from what I can infer, this definitely feels like it needs to be broken in. It feels like it's just really slow and very sandy, so there could be some setup and breaking in. It already feels like it's starting to go away, even just doing the checkerboard. This may just take a few solves to wear down the sandiness and kind of break it in a little bit. I feel like with breaking in, they definitely will have potential to get better. I can definitely feel the magnets a little bit. They're very subtle, but for big cubes, it's really more about the inner layers that get magnetized well, and not so much the outer layers. So, in other words, the outer layers probably need to... the outer layers are basically on your last step, and you don't really need magnets in the outer layers, but in the inner layers, yes. So this could take some breaking in. Let's try the 6x6. I'm assuming it's going to feel pretty much the same way. Oh, interesting. It actually feels pretty different. This is interesting. So honestly, again, kind of having a little bit of stability issues. That's not really the cube's fault. It's more so my fault. A little bit of catching. That's okay. Once again, I feel like some breaking in is going to be necessary. So let's try the checkerboard here. Yeah, so looks like a checkerboard. It feels a little bit faster and a little bit less sandy. But compared to the 5x5, I feel like it is a bit smoother. However, it's still not perfect. Again, I feel like just with breaking in, I feel like it could be a really good puzzle. Let's try the 7x7. same situation. It feels a little bit sluggish, a little bit sandy. Oh, these inner layers feel really heavy. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like the magnets are too strong. Oh wow, this actually feels the most stable of them all. Maybe it's just because I'm used to holding a 7x7, because I've done a few solves on 7x7 lately. Let's try these layers. T-perm. Oh, wait a second, I think I messed something up. Okay, so I messed something up. I'll be right back. Well, it turns out I accidentally scrambled my 7x7 in that failure of that T-perm, so I'll go ahead and solve that later. But in regards to the actual turning, it is pretty good. I'll make sure to solve this a little bit. I'll probably pause the recording and have 2 separate recordings going on, because I do still have a few more cubes to go through, and we've already been recording for almost 16 minutes. So I'd say, since we're about halfway through, I'll take the time to go ahead and solve this before I finally get everything organized. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and move these off to the side. These definitely have potential to be my mains, since they are magnetic, and they just feel more premium than the previous 5x5 through 7x7 that I had, but that will be something that we find out at a later date. Alright, next up we have the last 2 non-WCA puzzles in this unboxing. We have the Moyu Puppet Cube 1 and Puppet Cube 2. So, like I said, I recently... Oh no, that's... yeah, I don't think that was meant to happen. The box has taken a beating, unfortunately. So, I recently watched Jesse, who works at the Cubicle. He solved the Puppet Cube 1 on camera in front of everybody. Why are these boxes so tight? I can't open them without ripping them. I can't open these at all. Come on, man. Yeah, sadly that's a bit unfortunate for the box, but anyway. So the Puppet Cube is essentially, it's basically a 3x3 shape mod, but it is among the most difficult 3x3 shape mod out there, and it doesn't even look like a 3x3. It looks like a really old 2x2. Both versions of it do, but as you can see, there are edges inside. So let's go ahead and check out the turning. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that is really weird. Look at that. Trying to even finger trick this is weird. And then you can see on the inside, it of course looks very different. I can't even do any moves here because that's bandaged. So essentially, this is basically just the most notoriously difficult modification of a 3x3, and again, it doesn't even look or relatively turn like a 3x3. It looks and turns very different. Let's try the 2. I think the 2 might be a bit easier to solve than the 1, just because it overall just feels... Oh wow, that's really that feels kind of stiff, honestly. It feels a little bit more oh, that didn't want to go. It feels a little bit less restricted, but I feel like it is going to prove to be a significant challenge, because I definitely don't know how to solve the Puppet Cube. I don't even know how to turn this thing. Yeah, this is already proving to be a challenge, and I feel like it's just catching on the inside, which is a bit of an issue, but that's okay. So I'm not going to scramble these and solve them right now because I do not know how to, but I'm actually pretty excited to try and get into solving them. I hope I can solve these, but if not, well, I can only say that I tried, but I'm actually pretty excited to get into these. A lot of people seem to like the Puppet Cubes. It's gotten some pretty good reviews on the Cubicle, so very excited to get into these. All right, I went ahead and I solved the 7x7 off camera just to make sure that I had everything ready for the next bit. But now we are going to get into probably one of the most exciting puzzles in this whole unboxing, my very first clock. Now, I understand that clock is one of the kind of the most unpopular events in the WCA, but it is still in the WCA, and therefore I did eventually need to get a clock. And this clock right here, the Chi clock, is pretty much the best one that you can get. How do I open this? I think I just let it slide out like that. Yep, and then I can probably just take this cover off. And it's a little bit smaller than I thought it would be. Maybe everyone else just had kind of small hands. And then we also have a stand for the clock. Let's go ahead and put it up there just for now. And then we also got a couple other things in the box. And then just this cover, so let's go ahead and set that aside. So we have a few cards here. We have a few pictures of the clock. And then we have what looks to be an instruction manual. I'm not sure if I'm going to need an instruction manual, just because this is a clock, and I have seen clocks solved a couple times, so I might know how to solve it just by looking at that. But let's go ahead and set all this stuff off to the side, because that's not what's important. What's important is the clock itself. So clock overall has two different distinct functions, and right off the bat, it's actually pretty cold. Maybe it's just because this room is cold. So the first way that it can turn, or the first way that it moves, is these pins. These pins are magnetic, but the second way that it turns is by these wheels. And basically, you can move each face of the clock into any one of the different clock positions. So essentially it has numbers 1 through 12. And for those of you wondering, there are actually two sides to it, and it functions in the same way. So if you have all 4 pins up, then all 9 of the clock faces will be able to move, but on the other side, oops, that is not what I meant to do. On the other side, only the corners will be able to move, as opposed to all 9 of them. If you have just this pin up, it will rotate these 3 corners, but it will also rotate this one corner by itself on the other side. If you have these 2 pins up, it only rotates these 2 corners, and then it rotates this whole segment on the other side. If you have 3 pins up, then it will rotate, or if you have just 1 pin up, it will rotate these 3 segments. Oh my gosh, so many notifications. It will rotate this entire segment or just this one corner. And then if I have 3 pins up, then this will happen. I'm not sure why it's a little bit different. I'll have to learn a little bit on how the clock actually functions, but I think I have an idea of how to do it. I'm not going to scramble it up right now. I'll have to learn how to do clock in just a little bit. But overall, I'm actually really happy with this. It functions really well. I mean, if it's made by the Chi brand, then it's of course going to function really well. So chances are this could very well be one of my new favorite puzzles. I know clock is a really unpopular event, and I just got one, so it is exciting for me. But that actually fully completes my collection of competition items, as the clock was the last one that I needed to get. So let me go ahead and show you real quick. So here are all of the WTA competition items. As you can see, we have the N by N line. So we have 2x2, 3x3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we have the 4 side events, and then plus clock, we have Scube, Square One, Pyraminx, and Megaminx. And as of right now, this is pretty much a good enough setup to do. There is a challenge where you do solve all 11 of the WCA puzzles in one sitting. I can't remember the name of that challenge, but now I'm pretty much set up. However, we are not done here, as even though this clock is very exciting, we still have 2 more mains to upgrade. So let's go ahead and clear all this away, and then we will go ahead and get moving on to the next puzzle. Let's stack mat turn back around for the next one, as the next puzzle that I am going to get into is going to be the MGC Square One. So I'm very excited for this one because I do not have any magnetic Square Ones in my entire collection, and I have 3 different competition legal Square Ones, and none of them are magnetic. So if I could open this up, there we go, that should be good. So all I need to do is just open this up real quick, take all the plastic off. We got a lot of plastic to clean up after this. All right, that's all the wrapping off, but we're still not quite into the box yet. Then we need to take this sleeve off. Very fancy sleeve that comes with all the, oh no, it's stuck. There we go. Very fancy sleeve that comes with the MGC puzzles. And now we let it slide out just like that. And, oh my gosh, how deep is this? There we go. Now, we can finally take a look at what is going to be my first magnetic Square One. So you have an accessory box, and there's some exciting stuff in there, and then also we have the Square One itself with massive Florian cuts on the top and bottom layers, and then there's nothing else in the box, so let's just set it all off to the side. Let's take this out real quick. This tape is indestructible. There goes the accessories, which is a problem because we're gonna need that. Anyway. There we go. Jeez, this is tough to get into. It's like a safe. So before we take a look at the accessories, let's go ahead and check out the turning here. So looks pretty good for top layers. Oh wow, that was pretty fast. Look at that. I can almost do U2s with one flick. But the magnets are slowing it down a little bit. How does the bottom layer turning? Oh wow, the bottom layer feels even faster. Yeah, look at that. The bottom layer is doing U3s. Huh, wasn't expecting that. And then top layer, yeah, top layer is a bit slower. How about the slice? Slice feels pretty good. Let's try some aloes. I'm very slow with square one, so yeah. Overall, I would actually say the turning is pretty good. Let's try the parity algorithm on it. Yeah, I would overall say it's a very good performance for a square one. The Little Magic is currently my main, but I feel like the MGC is going to beat it. It is one of the most popular square ones of today, and it's not hard to see why. It's fully magnetic. This yellow layer is a little bit too fast for my liking, but that is not all that we have to offer with this square one, because in this accessory box, what usually comes with accessory boxes is like screwdrivers and a couple like core adjustment things. Here we have, here we have a pamphlet. I'm assuming this is how to solve it. We have a YJ screwdriver, and then we have a bunch of what looks like black pieces, and that is because Square One is the one side event where instead of a yellow face, a lot of the professional speedcubers instead use a black face. So as you can see, the pieces are exactly the same. It's a bit hard to see with this background. I promise I will get a much brighter background in the future. So let's actually go ahead and take off all of these yellow caps and put the black ones on. I'll be right back. All right, that is all of the pieces with the caps replaced. Now let's go ahead and put this back together. The other half is done. Now we just need to put the two halves together. And there we go, we got it put back together. Now I just need to put the screw back in. All right, I think that's enough. And then take a look at that. Oh boy, still fast. You know what, I probably need to tighten this up a little bit more. All right, I think that'll be good enough for now. So let's go ahead and put this cap back on. And then several minutes later, we have now pretty much fully modified our Square One, our new MGC Square One. Had to use the Moyu screwdriver because the YJ one wasn't working out. That definitely was a little bit harder than I thought it would be, but I am definitely liking the result. Having a black face instead of a white face, it definitely creates a lot more contrast, and it's definitely going to help a lot more with recognition because Square One, despite having a very similar color scheme to that of a 3x3, like this is the Little Magic that I showed earlier, despite having a very similar color scheme, having that extra contrast is going to help out a lot when solving, because trying to distinguish white from yellow can sometimes be a little bit difficult. But trying to distinguish black from yellow is going to be very easy because, or black from white, sorry. It's going to be very easy to distinguish, and all of the pros used a black face as opposed to a yellow face, so I'm definitely excited to get into practicing this. I'm not used to having one with a black face, as you can tell, but yeah, I think that was definitely the right move. So checking out turning again. Yep, still pretty good. This layer is still really fast, though. I don't know why it's so fast. I probably should be looking at the camera because my audio might have been off. But yeah, it was definitely a very, very fun event, in my opinion. I definitely need to practice with Square One because I can definitely see that it's kind of hard to improve in. But if I can get some practice in on this one, it might actually become one of the most fun events for me. But that still has yet to be determined, because up last for this entire unboxing, we have the Weilong Maglev Scube from Moyu. I'm very excited to get into this one. So I do have a few Scubes in my collection, and in fact, both my competitive Scubes actually come from Moyu. The first competitive Scube that I got was the Meilong Scube, and then I also upgraded to the Alyan shortly after, because the Alyan is just miles ahead of the Meilong in my opinion. But now we are getting the newest flagship Scube from Moyu, the Weilong. So once again, a very fancy box, very fancy packaging, kind of similar to the Alien. I never made a video on the Alien, so I can't really relate. So we got the same sort of thing. Take a look at that in just a second. And then we also have an accessory box. So let's go ahead and take this Cube out and let it slide out perfectly. And then real quick, before I unwrap it, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessory box. So this is kind of the same deal that came with the RS2 Evo that I unboxed last time. We have a few heads for a screwdriver. And then we also have half a screwdriver, I'm assuming, to go along with these heads. Then we also have a full screwdriver. And then we also have a pamphlet. I think this is about the box. And then let's go ahead and dump everything out. We have a couple tensioning tools, another pamphlet, and that's everything. But that's not about the accessories. So let's set this all off to the side. And then I'm also just gonna leave the box alone for now. It's all about the puzzle itself, and I'm very excited to get into this. I hope this can absolutely deliver, much like my my Aoyan was able to. My Aoyan is a black version and not the stickerless version, so unfortunately I can't really worry about the ergonomics that well. But this is the maglev version of the Weilong Cube, and let's just see what it's like if I can get it out, because sometimes it can be kind of difficult to get out of the packaging. And yeah, my desk space is a bit of a mess right now, but just taking a look at it, it looks really, really nice. So let's do some turns. Ooh, nice and sandy. These giant flooring cuts. It actually feels a bit small compared to my Aoyan. Yeah, it's exactly the same. I don't know why it feels so much smaller. I guess it's just because the cuts are so much bigger. Let's do a sledgehammer. Yeah, I can definitely say that this is a really exciting addition to the collection. I've been waiting for this one for a little while now, so I'm very excited to finally have a good magnetic cube. So obviously, because of the purple internals, that indicates that it is a maglev. And for those that do not know what maglev is, if this is a corner, is this a corner attached to the core? It looks like it. So if we can take this cap off, I'm not sure if this is the one attached to the core or not, but something on this cap wants to come off. Okay, so this one just looks like it's a regular corner cap, so this is not the one that we're looking for. So it is one of the ones that we were looking at. Problem is, these caps don't really want to come off. There we go. I think we're starting to get one. So as you can see, you can take a look at the tensions in the puzzle. So as you can see, it also kind of popped out a little bit. So the tensions is basically just how tight or how loose it is. But you can basically use these two tools to adjust the tensioning. And then as you can see, it does not use a spring to hold it in place. If you take a really close look in there, you can see it actually uses a magnet, or two magnets rather, that will repel each other and create tension. And that is basically what maglev tensions are all about. And overall, it's just a really fast performing cube, and I personally think it's gonna really be able to outperform my Aoyan. My Aoyan was good, but it was a little bit sluggish, and it overall was very noisy. This is much less noisy, and it feels much more pleasant in the hand. I like the sandy feel. Let's check out the corner cutting. Yeah, corner cutting seems pretty outstanding. I think this might have some of the biggest flooring cuts I've ever seen on a cube. Overall, it's very light. It feels significantly lighter than that of the Aoyan. And overall, I feel like it's just going to be a much higher quality puzzle. I definitely am worthy of becoming my main. In fact, even just out of the box without even doing any proper solves on it, it's definitely going to become my main, and I'm very excited for it. Well, my friends, that pretty much brings us to the end of this immensely massive unboxing. This is definitely the most expensive order I've made to the Cubicle as of now. And overall, I'm very, very happy with all of the puzzles that we got so far. I'm pretty excited to get into trying solving the puppet cubes. These were fun additions to have, especially the mystery puzzle. It was a nice surprise to get one that I did not have, especially one of such a high quality. MGC Square One and the Weilong maglev cube definitely worthy of becoming a main. Very happy that I now have a clock in my collection. And then we also have a new budget main for my 5 through 7 line, and overall I'm very happy with all of these. I did notice some catching issues for the 7x7, but that's not going to be that much of an issue. So anyways, that will be about it for this video. If you enjoyed this, then be sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more from me in the future, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. If you want to ask me a question, or you just want to point out something funny that happened in the video, be sure to do that in a nice way in the comments below. That will be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Farewell.